Sushant Sareen and D Bakshi from Delhi, Syed Tariq Peerzada, Air Marshal Abid Rao and Admiral Javed Iqbal is joining us from Lahore, and before that from Islamabad and Karachi respectively. Thank you very much. I don't know what really is going on. What is the strategy? Unless the only strategy right now, Mr. Peerzada, first of all, my request to you tonight is that, let's focus on what is going on. Let's keep all the rhetoric out of the debate. Okay, I'll present some facts to you. This is a very serious situation which has now developed, and I'm sure you will be aware, Mr. Peerzada, and particularly I'm telling you this because, rhetoric will not help right now. Now, we have decided here that if this continues, then Pakistan is going to get it back. That's what our political editor reported. That's the point of view of the government now. For non-stop now, these ceasefire violations which are continuing, what really is the strategy, in your view, Mr. Peerzada, that is responsible for this spike in ceasefire violations by Pakistan?
Well, the strategy that is responsible for this situation is the frustration of India that Pakistan has raised the issue of Kashmir at the international level.
But nobody noticed you on that. There is one second. Mr. Peerzada, we spoke about that, and you are aware that there were very few people in the audience when Nawaz Sharif was speaking, that nobody responded to you. In the United Nations, you raised it with Ban Ki-moon. He did not respond. America's State Department has given out a statement some time back saying there is no point in internationalizing this issue. So as far as Kashmir is concerned, it's a settled issue. And you've gone around complaining, but you haven't got a reaction. So give us a more logical point of view. My view is that this is an attempt to push in infiltrators into Indian territory before the winter sets in.
All right.
That's the only logical tactical reason. Yes.
Well, winter is too far away, but what the State Department said yesterday
and before the snow
must be heeded by India, that Kashmir is the core issue, that it must be resolved. That's the message from Washington to New Delhi. Number three, the advisor on foreign affairs to the Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Sartaj Aziz, has this to say to India, that for the last 7 days, India has been indiscriminately killing Pakistani women and men across the
Now let me tell you what the last 7 days look like. No, one second, Mr. Peerzada, let's understand this. No, 1 second, Mr. Peerzada. Let's get everybody into the debate. I'll tell you. Let's get the other side and let's get Sushant Sareen in. Let me tell you what the last 7 days look like. No, 1 second. Let me tell you what the last 7 days look like. 7th October, 4 ceasefire violations by Pakistan, 40 border outposts targeted. Firing on 25 villages, 9 people injured. October 6th, 5 civilians killed, 25 injured. Arnia sector. October 5th, the Pakistan Army targets Indian posts along the LOC. October 3rd, Gulmarg and Poonch sector, 1 person killed, 6 injured. Okay, again civilian villages were targeted. October 2nd, several villages, civilians injured. It happened again in the Poonch sector. So this is what the last 7 days look like, and I don't know what Sartaj Aziz is talking about. Sushant Sareen, I put out the facts out here of what the Pakistanis have been up to. Sushant Sareen. Sushant Sareen, please. I'll come back to you.
He has absolutely no credibility.
Yeah.
Sartaj Aziz has absolutely no credibility. He's the same guy who was handling the Pakistan Foreign Office way back in '99 when the Kargil intrusions took place. And Sartaj Aziz, was the guy who was trying to tell the rest of the world, that, number one, these are some kind of jihadis or mujahideen who are fighting in Kashmir. Then that lie was proven.
This is an old
then he came up with another falsehood, which was that the line of control is not clear, even though all the maps are exactly there. Then, he continued to indulge in all sorts of falsehoods, and there was nobody who was buying his falsehoods. So for Mr. Sartaj Aziz, number one, to indulge in the kind of falsehoods he's indulging in is, I think, rather disingenuous. The second thing is that I think it's rather rich of him to suggest that the Indian army is not listening to the Indian government. Everybody in the world, including Mr. Sartaj Aziz himself, should know what is the worth of the civilian government in Pakistan vis-a-vis the Pakistan army. And for him to say that a disciplined force like the Indian army is doing whatever is happening on the LOC
request by Prime Minister
without the orders of the government of India, I think he's absolutely lost it
That
completely.
was the pressure by
now the
Indian
thing
forces.
is that you're right that they're trying to push in infiltrators. That is one part of the problem. And in fact, this latest episode starts
nobody has
because
charged
India
us of
had
that.
foiled a
You are
series of
accusing us
infiltrations.
of committing violations at the line of control. Nobody has charged us in the Indian government of pushing the infiltrators into the Indian-held Kashmir. Nobody has. This is your personal
You obviously
charge.
don't read
If I'm
newspapers,
correct,
and if you
Mr.
read
Maruf Raza.
newspapers, you don't understand what is written in that. And
I
your
think your
problem is that
newspapers
even,
are
what
really
the
good
US
at
State
fabricating
Department
the
says,
stories.
I don't think you can. Your accent might be American, but I don't think you can understand what they're exactly saying.
Jan Psaki also said a couple of other things. She said Kashmir is the core issue. Discuss that issue.
I think
get to the table.
It is the core issue.
Bring.
Of course, it is the core issue.
Talk
No,
to your friend in Washington.
No, she said. No, one second. One second. Mr. Pirzada, I know that
Why
tonight,
don't you tell
Mr. Pirzada, please will you listen to me, Mr. Pirzada? My point to you is, I know tonight, I know tonight that you will be clutching at straws and hoping that some little American bureaucrat out there is giving you hope of a tomorrow where Kashmir becomes an international issue.
I know that.
But Mr. Pirzada, what I'm telling you is this, that in a most predictable manner, you do this year after year. Last year in September, October, GD Bakshi can tell you more about it.
Resolution of Kashmir, which you don't want to talk about. You guys cancel the negotiations. You guys start firing at the line of control. You think Pakistan can be bullied?
But
I keep advising India that Pakistan
Mr. Pirzada, the fact is that what I was just telling you, what I was just telling you, first of all, you see, first of all, no American bureaucrat, no American official has said that, we are going to meddle in Kashmir. What the Americans have said, and allow me please, what the Americans have said, Mr. Pirzada.
And they are
Mr. Pirzada, you've got to listen to me, otherwise I'm not going to listen to you.
Or Mr. Modi from Washington.
So,
that's the message from Washington.
Mr. Pirzada, what happened in Washington for you is very unfortunate. That what you got was a right royal global snub. Everybody snubbed you. There were hardly any people in the audience when Nawaz Sharif was speaking. There were hardly any people in the audience when Nawaz Sharif was speaking. Ban Ki-moon spent 15 minutes with Nawaz Sharif and then told him, I have another appointment, Mr. Prime Minister. Can you move on? When he went on ranting about Kashmir.
To the contrary.
No senior political functionary from any country wanted to meet Nawaz Sharif. The only person willing to have dinner with Nawaz Sharif was Sartaj Aziz. This is the unfortunate reality of your country, that today you are a global pariah. Now, my point is, GD Bakshi, how do we deal with them now? GD Bakshi, this has gone on for 2 or 3 days non-stop now. How do we deal with the Pakistanis? How do we deal with them now?
Arnab,
if this continues,
I would like
on the table.
Hello, Mr. Peerzada, can somebody else kindly talk? Otherwise, it's not a discussion.
Right,
I'm sorry, it is just a monologue. Mr. Peerzada, I would like to point out that your country is fast acquiring the contours of a North Korea clone in the South Asian landmass. Just like North Korea only has one option, and that is to make a nuisance of itself. Make a nuisance of itself. What I would like to tell you now is that for making a nuisance of yourself, your army will have to be prepared to pay a price. Your army will have to be prepared to pay a price. I do not think you will find it business as usual. You have unfortunately become habituated. You have unfortunately become habituated to more of the same. That you can keep firing and talks will go on. I'm afraid things won't happen that way now. And you will see a change, and you will see how Mr. Xi Jinping avoided your capital altogether. Please, have you thought over this fact? Why your friend, higher than the mountains, deeper than the oceans, that relationship, Mr. Xi Jinping avoided coming to Islamabad. Does that not tell you that there is something amiss?
I'd like to let's get in Javed Iqbal and Abid Rao, please. Let's get in. No, 1 second. Now, what do you want to do?
Talk to Pakistan.
No, 1 second. Abid Rao.
Kashmir. That's the only
Javed
thing.
Iqbal. Mr. Peerzada, give the other Pakistani participants a chance.
India cannot have an upper hand. It is not going to happen.
Okay, so
those days are gone.
Mr. Peerzada, are you going to let any other Pakistani speak? If you want to heckle the Indian participants, that's one thing.
No, you also
allow the
have to control
Pakistani
the
participants to
speakers.
speak. Javed Iqbal, why would your army do something like this? You know, you go around killing 1-year-old children, right? You go around killing 13-year-old children.
I think India
then on top of it,
naive.
no, when there are floods going on in Jammu and Kashmir. When there are floods going on in Jammu and Kashmir,
would you allow me to complete?
You try to push in infiltrators. Now you have got winter approaching. Yeah, last year what happened, Admiral Iqbal? Last year in the Keran sector, there was a standoff exactly at this time, September, October this year, right? An identical attempt was made to push in infiltrators. This time I understand that your desperation is a little greater because of the horrible treatment your Prime Minister got. When he went to New York, nobody paid him any attention.
But will you listen to the answer, or you will continue with your speech?
No, there's no speech.
It's a one-way commentary.
No, will you listen to
Arnab
answer?
show.
You can please, Abid Rao, you can respond, but you also know, Abid Rao, there was exactly this thing which happened in Keran sector last year. What happened? You got pummeled.
You want me to answer or Admiral Javed?
Well, let Javed Iqbal go first. You are free to answer.
Whom you want to answer?
Okay. Then listen to us also.
I'm listening. All ears. Please.
Okay, go ahead. Look,
Admiral Javed, sir, it's your turn.
That you would be... Okay, thank you. I would request my friends to be, show more maturity, and let's discuss the issue with patience. And I think the whole world is listening to us. Let's give argument instead of, shouting at each other. First of all, I would say that it is absolutely painful that civilians on both sides are the casualties. It is absolutely no good for both
civilians are being civilian targets. Your army is targeting
civilians. Can you allow
civilians.
me to complete?
Your army is targeting civilians. I have all kinds of proof
for
of
30
that.
seconds, I think.
Go ahead.
Then you go ahead. The thing is that on our side, in last 2-3 days, 5 civilians have been killed, including women, children, and elderly people. Similarly, it happened on your side. I think with all these, people on the panel, with senior ranks, with maturity, what are we trying to teach each other? I think Pakistan has enough problem. They would never do these things. But with your new chief and with Mr. Modi, they are trying to show the muscle. I think it will be naive to think that Pakistan will give in. Pakistan will never give in on Kashmir.
Sir, now what you're doing
is... go with the devil. But we will not allow you to do this.
Sir, I understand, Admiral Javed Iqbal, that because, the Indian Army responded and has responded strongly, that you're now on a weak footing, and you've realized that the Indian Army is in a position to really not just give it back to you, but to pummel your positions. But to pummel your positions, to demolish your border outposts, and to break down each of those Pakistan Rangers outposts in such a manner that the Pakistan Rangers won't forget it for a very long time. So now you want to go back and you want to now say, we are the victims here. Why did you start this? Why did you start it and why don't you stop? Why did you fire 120 mm mortars?
You are so scared. You are even scared of one, the people whom you name in Bombay and
you've tried it for 48 hours.
So
D Bakshi is responding to you. So my point is, you tried it for 48 hours. What happened? You tried it for 48 hours. The American State Department said, go back and solve it with India. We're not giving you any time right now. What are you going to do? The only option that you have right now, Abid Rao, is that you need to keep this so-called Kashmir issue afloat. You need to keep the tension going, because otherwise you won't even get the regular route of funds. There are certain legislations which are now coming up in the US Congress, which will stop your source of funding, which will link, the funding to your action against terror. You don't want to go in for that. You are scared about it, so you want to keep the fire burning. But America just told you 2 hours back, we don't have the time for you. So what are you going to do now?
Are you
what are you going to do now? How long will you continue to do this?
America has told us.
Will you back off?
America is begging us.
State Department?
Sir, America hasn't got any time for you anymore. They are about to exit from Afghanistan.
Why are you worried whether America has time for us or not? Why are you so concerned? That will be our problem, whether America has time for us or not.
Sir,
why are you so worried about us?
I understand that you have this sense of panic which has now come into you, that what are we going to do? How will we get the next round of $100 million funding? How are we going to survive? Our economy is going to tank, and who's going to listen to us after the Americans go? But that's your problem, sir. Your country can fall apart. I said yesterday, you can incinerate for all I care. But you know, we don't have time for you. The Americans don't have time for you. And if you do this on our borders, Abid Rao,
with the kind of rape that you have.
No, Abid Rao, you know, if you do this on our borders, what will happen? You'll invite a very tough Indian response. What will you do?
Arnab, if you keep quiet for 1 minute, I will answer all your questions.
Sure, please do, sir. Please do.
You'll run out of patience.
Please do. I'm not running out of patience at all. I can. Yeah, go ahead.
The game India is playing can be played by 2. That is 1. Number 2, America, you will see your honeymoon is going to be over very soon. Today they have issued a statement in which, let me tell you one thing, learn from Pakistan's experience. America will do nothing in your favor against Pakistan if it is not in America's interest. So you can keep harping. You have returned intoxicated from the visit that America has given you so much of time, so much of hearing. Fine, they will invest in India. Fine.
No, so but why are you doing this on the border? No, but why do you have to respond? We may have had a good visit or a bad visit to New York and Washington. But why do you have to do this on the border?
It has not gone in Pakistan's favor. It has not gone in your favor.
So why do you have to do this on the border? So what is your purpose? What do you achieve by doing this?
I don't have to believe your statement. You mix your views with the news. Therefore, you make things
So we are a democracy. I have the right to have my views.
Trust what you're saying.
I don't need anyone's permission.
You have your views, but don't.
We are not like Pakistan, where GOTV is closed by ISI because
ISPR.
Yeah,
my government says that Indian government is firing, Indian army is firing, our civilians are killed. I'm equally pained.
Sir, I am telling you. Okay, so let's do this. Abid Rao, let's do this. Abid Rao,
don't use threatening language.
No, I'm not using threatening language. I'm saying Sartaj Aziz made a comment. 2 hands go up. I think I'm going to leave it to the Indian interlocutors to respond.
I trust him. I trust Sartaj Aziz.
You trust Sartaj Aziz?
You're saying that
Sartaj Aziz is an acknowledged liar. His claims are a bunch of lies. The fact of the matter is that
India has always been doing this. Akashvani was known to be the biggest lying agency, propaganda machine. But we accepted that you know it is your right to say whatever you want to. Nobody in the world trusted us.
I'll tell you why you are lying. I'll tell you why Sartaj Aziz is lying. Sartaj Aziz is lying is because the government of Pakistan has admitted in the past
at the highest level, you do that.
At the highest level of sponsoring terror against India. I don't want to embarrass you, but Asif Ali Zardari in 2009 openly said we use terrorists to achieve our short-term objectives vis-a-vis India. That was 2009. America kept you happy at that time because they needed you.
You will not understand our dishonesty also.
Sir, you do this every year. Okay, we are getting responses. I'm only asking you today how long this will. All the people of India watching tonight want to know how long will this drama go on, or do you really want to get properly pummeled and demolished to learn your lessons? There's been a meeting of the 3 service chiefs today.
That is your dream,
with the defense minister.
Desire, but I tell you, if you haven't achieved in 67 years, you will not achieve it now.
No, Admiral Iqbal is laughing today, but Admiral Iqbal will remember 1971.
Pakistan's strengths.
You see,
and it is the fear of Pakistan army that comes out of you every evening.
Sir, you have lost 3 wars. You've repeatedly lost every battle. You know your experiences have been unfortunate for your own soldiers. You know you tried to pass on your soldiers as Mujahideen, refused to acknowledge them in Kargil. And Admiral Iqbal of all people knows the humiliation that you were made to face in the year 1971 when I think he was in the Navy. Those nightmares should stay with you. When you want to try this,
it was a Pakistan.
When you want to try this,
Pakistani government versus the Bengalis.
Allow me.
Well, I mean, why are you doing this?
This very Admiral bashed you. This very Admiral bashed you in 65, bombarding Dawarka You should not forget that.
Sir, I have my sympathies for what has happened to the Pakistani army. I have my sympathies for you as a former military officer of the Pakistani army.
Who said it was not a military defeat for Pakistan. Please read history, your own people, Manik Shah, Jaswant Singh, they are very honorable people.
I just know that
by your stating on the television, fake stories of, Indian bravery. We know how brave are Indian soldiers and how much to respect.
GD Bakshi is responding to you.
I know much more about
GD Bakshi and Sushant Sareen, please. GD Bakshi and Sushant Sareen. GD Bakshi first.
Arnab, our Pakistani interlocutors raised 2 points. Kindly permit me to answer them in the interest of a rational debate, as the Admiral was asking for.
Go ahead.
The Admiral very rightly expressed regret about the loss of civilian lives on both sides of the border. I would request the Admiral to kindly consider the form of war that your nation state has adopted of using non-state actors to target civilians in this country. I would request the Admiral to kindly take his mind back to footage shown on Pakistan TV of the 26/11 attack, when Pakistani non-state actors like Ajmal Amir Kasab were firing AK-47s into crowded railway stations. So you will agree that the very aspect that you have chosen, as a soldier it strikes you as wrong, it strikes us as wrong. We would request that if we have to, as nation states, fight, let us do it the honorable way and not by using non-state actors to kill, innocent civilians. The Air Marshal Abid Rao, whom I have a fair amount of time in regard for, he raised the fact that the United States will let you down. Air Marshal Rao, I wish to point out to you very humbly that it is India which has relied the least on on the United States in trying to solve our problems with Pakistan. In the India-Pakistan dyad, it is always you who have invoked the United States and suffered in the bargain. The arms embargoes have hit you. I'm sure as a Pakistani soldier, air warrior, you agree. You have taken.
I agree with you, sir. I agree with you.
Relationship. We are not dependent on the United States. We will do things our own way.
Sir, since your return from America, your Prime Minister,
we have to fight.
You are riding American shoulders. This is what I'm saying.
So why are you?
Let us be the honorable way.
Sir, I'm sorry.
Too much to
but these complexes must now leave you. Marshal Abid Rao, the complexes of the past. Can I get 10 seconds in, please? The complexes on the past. The wars which you fought and you lost. Right? 1971. Right, 1965, Kargil. You must now forget all of these incidents which happened and look afresh and with a sense of positive energy. It's what's happening. Our relationship with Pakistan, frankly, Sushant Sareen, is our relationship with Pakistan. Our relationship with America is our relationship with America.
Not take credit for all misfortunes of Pakistan.
Not at all.
It was not India's doing.
Not at all. The fact of the matter is Pakistan started violating the ceasefire and India has given a fitting reply and is most likely to give you a very fitting reply in the past,
and insist upon
in the future.
Believe it.
No, you should introspect now. You should take control of the situation.
Why are you so scared of Pakistan? You are 5 times the size of Pakistan. Why are you so scared?
So we are scared for you.
Why you are always obsessed?
So we are scared for you. And you bother us, we're scared for you because at the end of the day you're going to get hurt.
Thank you for the
your army is going to get hurt.
But don't worry about us.
Well, I mean,
very considerate for Pakistan. Thank you.
Sir, if this is going to be the foolhardy kind of response, then you know where this is going to head right now. This is not a government which is scared of escalating the situation.
You are naive that Pakistan.
Admiral, please think reasonably. Repeated ceasefire violations by Pakistan are a desperate attempt to draw attention after having failed to internationalize the Kashmir issue. That's it. You failed to internationalize
It is
the
already
Kashmir
an international issue.
So you are resorting
Americans
to
have
this.
said this is a nuclear flashpoint.
Sir,
why are you so allergic and sensitive to this?
Sir, you know this.
What guilt are you carrying? I mean, talk to Pakistan directly. Solve it.
This whole nuclear Armageddon kind of situation, that we are going to be on the verge of nuclear war. You know, that things will go out of hand. This will be the next point of global conflict, etc. You know, well, you know, it's a laughable attempt by you, a last attempt by you at internationalizing the situation. India is also a nuclear power, and I don't think we should talk irresponsible talks. It does not help. And you won't be taken. You know the strengths of you know the conventional strengths of your military, and we do.
Look,
you know what happened in Kargil, and so do we.
Why don't you discuss Kashmir?
Arnab, Pakistan may be a weaker state. It is not a weak state. Remember that.
No, you are not a weak state. You have a weak military. That's all. You know, you are a dysfunctional state with a weak military. That's the fact. Sushant Sareen is responding. C Singh comes into the debate. The fact.
Numerical difference does not matter now.
I really think our Pakistani guests have a somewhat inflated opinion about their own army. Actually, the Pakistan military, the only thing that the Pakistan military has ever conquered is their own people and their own country, and most of them unarmed people whom they have butchered mercilessly, whether in East Pakistan, the erstwhile East Pakistan, or we are seeing something similar happen in Balochistan today. We are also seeing some of this happen in the KP province and other parts of Pakistan today. So please don't try
at Assam, look at Mizoram, look what you did to
kind of
Assam is peaceful, Mizoram is peaceful, they have elections, they have elected state governments, please don't talk rubbish.
Worse than ours. It is I mean, when India talks of...
Sir, you don't know about Assam and Mizoram, please don't take names without knowing the facts. Thank you. Please continue.
Now listen to me.
I cannot digest.
Now listen to me. Pakistan is proud of its army, and you are scared of Pakistan.
Of course you are, because it conquers its own people all the time. You have to be proud of it.
That is the reality. You accept that. That is the reality.
You should be proud of such an army. In fact, we are also very proud of the Pakistan army for constantly conquering their own people.
That is why you keep on harping about army.
We are absolutely scared of the Pakistan army because it only conquers its own people.
And all the time you are obsessed.
We are actually waiting for it to bring it on.
Good job.
Sometime Pakistan army.
It rides everybody's mind in India.
You are scared of Pakistan.
Sir, nobody is going to listen to you. Are you realizing?
Absolutely, we are terrified of you guys.
Admiral, are you realizing that? Are you realizing one thing? Admiral, I just want to tell you. Admiral, today, nobody is listening to you anymore in the world. You know, you are like shouting away.
We don't care.
Nobody cares for what you say or do anymore. As far even the United Nations Military Observers Group, even the so-called United Nations Military Observers Group, where you went, allow me to complete, where you went crying to today.
Who is asking your advice?
Well, you know,
who is asking your advice?
Even the UN MOGIP doesn't listen to you.
Biscuit we have.
Admiral, let me now pick up the other issue. C Singh is coming into the debate.
Stop worrying about Pakistan.
Sir, please understand. Sir, you have our sympathies for your condition today. You have our sympathies, you have our concern. We are worried, but then we are also amused by what you are doing. But for the fact that you are hurting our civilians. You hurt our civilians, we are going to hurt you back. And that is exactly what you should be prepared for now.
You will get
this government, you hurt our civilians in that way, we are going to hurt you back. We don't have a dreamer like Manmohan Singh as Prime Minister who hopes to have breakfast in Lahore, then wrap it up with dinner in Amritsar. This is a realistic government that's going to deal with you in a realistic and pragmatic manner.
New Prime Minister.
Now, my question to C Singh is,
new Prime Minister.
Don't make loose statements. This is not a very wise statement.
today, now, there is a military alternative, there are diplomatic alternatives. Diplomatically, is this the end of the road for Pakistan, which is why they are doing this? How should we deal with them at a diplomatic level? And then at an overall level, from a military, strategic, diplomatic perspective. Because they seem to have decided, especially after what happened in New York, to make a nuisance of themselves as much as possible along the international border. So, KC, what is the right treatment for Pakistan now?
Look, Arnab, it started even before the UNGA meeting. It started in the middle of August. Before the foreign secretaries were meeting, the border began to get heated up then. And that is why, one of the reasons why India called it off. The foreign secretary level talks were called off. And I think this government decided, and that is their policy and that is their prerogative, to redraw the red lines. And I think Mr. Modi very correctly, when he went to the UN, the policy has been spelt out.
because Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif went back to the plebiscite resolution, tried his best to rouse the international community. It didn't work. There were no takers for it. And Mr. Modi, instead of getting into an altercation, simply said, please create the conditions for a dialogue. We are willing to discuss everything with you, but we will not negotiate under duress. Now, immediately after that, they've come back. And I think particularly because in the joint statement with US, the paragraph on terrorism, which talks of joint operations, has again, I think, sent a signal to Pakistan that US may be tilting in favor of India and away from them as they shift away from Afghanistan, because Pakistan's leeway with them is diminished. Now, with the elections in two sensitive states, with the desire to push militants in, with winter coming on, I think they decided to make one last bid to internationalize it. And that is why they're heating it up. And government has correctly said that will not be blackmailed. So, you do tit for tat, you respond accordingly. And that is what's going on. And the unfortunate thing is that civilians on both sides will suffer. But the Pakistani military, which now has the India file with them, it is no longer Nawaz Sharif. It wants Nawaz Sharif, us to talk to Nawaz Sharif, who is a diminished prime minister. And in the meanwhile, they want to keep up the pressure and say, if you don't talk to us, we will internationalize it, and you cannot run away from this issue.
Casey,
but
this
India
entire... No, Casey.
This is a new game.
Casey, this entire strategy of that makes it now impossible to engage with the Pakistanis at any serious level. I mean, if this is the way in which they are going to behave, Narendra Modi will not have,
not
despite...
at this stage.
No, Narendra Modi, whether he wants to do it or not, will not have the political mandate or the mandate of the people of this country to ever meet or resume talks with Nawaz Sharif at any level. So obviously they are not serious about talks at all. They are not serious.
No, they have to, as they say, they have to read his lips. He has said it. If he is told,
India has
the 193 countries at the UNGA, that we will not talk under duress. We will talk to you, but not under duress. So he's saying whether your army fires at us, we'll fire back, but you'll not bring us to the negotiating table.
Precisely, it becomes...
I think they will stick to it, and that is their stand.
You see, and at the end of the day, who are you talking to? You're going to some obsolete, irrelevant entity, Admiral Iqbal and Abid Rao, called the UN Military Observers Group. The UN Military Observers Group... The UN Military Observers Group...
No, it doesn't matter.
This is irrelevant after Simla summit.
So who is this? So why did you go crying today?
To us.
No, sir.
Because you are so scared of us.
Simla agreement,
you are totally become irrelevant to us.
Sir, listen,
absolutely.
Sir, listen. After what happened to you,
you have lost the relevance.
No, Admiral Iqbal, let me tell you this. After what happened to you in 1971, and nobody better than you.
You are not here to.
Sir, nobody. I don't want to.
I can tell you that
Admiral, listen to me.
You want to keep India together.
Admiral, listen to me.
You are using the Pakistan leverage.
Admiral, listen to me.
You are using Pakistan leverage.
Now, Admiral, listen to me. Let me tell you a bit of history. Why you made
to reply then?
No, sir. Sir, let's hear me, sir. This UN Military Observers Group. You went there. You went crying today. Now, actually, if you ask any serious observer of international law, that Pakistan, everybody is laughing at you today, Air Marshal Rao, for having done that, because in July 1949. India and Pakistan signed the Karachi Agreement, right?
You and your panel is everybody.
Sir, the whole world. You and your panel? Sir, you ask anybody today.
The whole world.
That
no. Where is the world? Whom should
Arnab, why the sir, you name one serious
sympathetic attitude towards Pakistan getting isolated.
No, sir. Okay.
Leave it to government of Pakistan.
Okay, so Abid Rao. Abid Rao. No, 1 second. Abid Rao, let me tell you this. There is nothing. You can go to the Taliban for all we care and say that, this is how...
We will go to the Taliban if there need be. Sir, I can assure you.
Sir, the question is...
If you don't mend your ways, we will prefer to go with Taliban.
Sir, this is exactly you are now.
Listen to the logic.
No, you see, this Sushant, this is the kind of argument which is going. Now, next you'll say we'll go to the Al Qaeda. We'll go to Al Zawahiri.
You are pushing us.
This is where you reveal yourself. Admiral Iqbal, this is where you reveal yourself.
Country, for God's sake. They are already a Talibanized country. They are already gone to the Taliban. They are hand in glove with the Taliban. And what the Admiral is saying is only buttresses the fact which is already known, very well known across the world. In fact, if you ask me, the ISIS is basically a plural of ISI. They both function in the same way. What the ISI trained goons have done in Jammu and Kashmir by massacring civilians and beheading people is what is exactly exactly what the ISIS is doing. So between there's very little to choose between the Taliban in Khaki and the Taliban in Mufti in Pakistan. They are basically Pakistan army is a Talibanized army. For people who can't see that writing on the wall, I think they're completely purblind. So for the Admiral to, lecture us that he will turn to Taliban, let him first take care of himself, because first thing that the Taliban are going to do is going to basically create havoc inside Punjab, where the Admiral lives in, with all the kind of goodies which he has got from his service. So he is the guy who should worry about the Taliban. I don't think we need to worry about the Taliban. As far as the Al-Qaeda is concerned,
I get a sense.
Pakistani links with the Al-Qaeda are also very well known. Why else do you think a person like Osama bin Laden was living right under the nose of the Pakistan army? So for these guys to try and say all this, I don't think it washes down anybody's throat anymore.
Sir, can I request you?
I can tell you, you are so scared. India will not rest. I can assure you, till you sort out Kashmir, till you solve Kashmir, you will not live in peace.
Sir, okay, so have you finished, sir? Can I just make one sincere request to you?
Let me just tell this guy one thing. We can manage, but whatever these guys are throwing at us, whether they will be able to manage and survive, it's already a basket case. It already goes with a begging bowl all over the world to get some money so that they can run their own country. For this guy to be threatening India in the way he is doing, it's rather rich from a beggar country to come from.
Beg and go to everybody's. Pakistan
of course you can beg. You are beggars.
Unnecessary.
Come to India.
You are beggars. You are abusing, which you should avoid.
Where is the question?
I will not respond. I don't want to stoop so low to say something bad about India.
Sir, I'll tell you one thing.
No, I can say a lot of bad things, but I will not.
No, you can't.
Because the aim is not to provoke you.
Sir, you know what happens.
Unreasonable response.
Sir, I'll tell you what is. Sir, I'll tell you. Now, whatever. And what is wrong in what?
Say something that I should respect you.
So can I say one thing? Sir, can I say one thing? There are many adjectives we can use for your country. It is a banana republic.
We can also
it is a failed state.
We can use also.
Right. It is a basket case.
Land of cowards.
It is generally a bankrupt country. However,
we can use
Admiral,
before Pakistan.
Admiral, forget what happened to you in your previous wars.
There's so many adjectives we know.
Sir, the question
I thought you would.
Sir, the question is today. This is no way.
Logic.
No, this is. Sir,
Arnab, please be serious about it.
I am very dead serious about it, sir. And in case you did not hear it, an increasing number of serious people from the Indian political establishment are now beginning to say, let us give it back to Pakistan. If you don't understand that language, sir, it is at your own peril. Because you want to. And as far as.
In spite of Pakistan being peaceful with you, you are trying to trouble Pakistan when Pakistan is fully engaged in its own problem. I think shame on that sort of neighborhood.
It's not engaged in any warfare. It's not engaged in any. It's a phony war you are fighting. That whole bloody survey is a completely phony war.
Okay, so now
I tell you, Pakistan
Mr.
is
Iqbal,
doing a great favor.
Mr. Iqbal,
who would have been fighting Taliban?
It's not doing anybody a favor.
Who would have been fighting
it is basically trying to prepare for the end game in Afghanistan, because that's the only country it thinks it can go and conquer. And then it wants to transfer all those militants into Jammu and Kashmir, and it is preparing the ground for that. So please don't try and fool us that you're not doing anybody a favor.
I think the worry out here.
You're fighting a phony war.
1 minute, just a minute. The worry out here, in my view, KC, is also that Pakistan is now increasingly afraid of being encircled. Because if you look at the sum total of Modi's visit to the US, America was very much in favor of a stronger Indian involvement in Afghanistan. And after the exit, it is generally believed that in order to keep the balance in the subcontinent, you will have to have a stronger presence in Afghanistan. Now, my question to you, sir, is...
I'm shivering here, sitting on this chair. Sir, I'm so scared, I'm shivering.
Javed Iqbal, please don't do this. Let's have a serious discussion.
The end game will be... Now, you are not understanding one thing. Please do understand one thing. Please allow me to speak.
Mr. Iqbal.
Please understand
Mr. Iqbal,
that if tomorrow Durand line comes to Wagah border, you will regret it. Don't push us that way. Please.
No, we will not regret it. You will regret it because you are the guys who will go under first.
By all my brother, look, you see, they are all senior officers. Please understand that we are protecting you from this hot wind. Please understand that. God. Be logical. Please understand that.
So, I don't understand the logic of a person who says to me, and just care to listen, who says on a national channel being broadcast in India and 46 countries, I don't understand your logic at all, Admiral.
What you are doing,
because 10 minutes back you were saying, 10 minutes back you said we'll use the Taliban against you, right? And now you are saying, please don't let the Durand line come to the LOC.
I say that we are doing this. You are pushing us.
Are you sure which side you belong? Are you sure what you want to do?
The Durand line will reach the Indus River. It will not reach the Radcliffe line. That is what they need to be worried about.
The Durand line will shift to Wagah border.
So, the fear
it will first shift to the Indus River.
You may choose to sup with the devil, right? And especially somebody called Ayman al-Zawahiri, who you prop up every few months when you fear that you are becoming irrelevant, and then put a video before this extremely sick 65-year-old man and say, please tell the whole world that we've started an Al-Qaeda outfit in India. We're not scared. Everybody in the world has seen through your game ever since Osama bin Laden was found on your soil, Javed Iqbal. And I hope that Abid Rao...
Arnab, you have forgotten about...
My point. No, 1 second, sir. I have listened very patiently. My one question
to you. You go to 2611, you go to 71.
Abid Rao.
I think every day we should discuss the entire history of this region for the last 50 years.
Air Marshal, Osama was found on your soil. Osama was found on your soil. It is a reality. It is one of those things that reveal the kind of country that you are. You don't expect after that anyone in the world to take
you think therefore LOC is being violated?
No, sir. This is principally your entire approach is we'll increase our nuisance value and the world will begin to look at us. That's the only point.
Let's expand
our
discussion to 1947, then we'll go back to 1527 when Babur attacked India.
I am talking about today.
I mean, I don't know where do you stop? What is your focus? The only thing common is that you want to malign Pakistan on every issue that has happened in history.
Sir, I have given a series of ceasefire violations. I've been saying repeatedly that I don't really care what happens to your country.
No, you have moved from ceasefire to now Ayman al-Zawahiri. So many things you tell me which I don't know. We can't comment on that.
So, you ask any Indian today, he doesn't care. You go and commit collective national harassment.
Pakistani also don't care. But I mean, what are you saying? I mean, are we here to exchange bad impressions about each other?
Keep your bullets to yourself. You put your bullets in this direction, you're going to have 10 bullets firing back.
I can't hear you now.
Now, of course, you can't hear me. But C Singh, now what's the reasonable approach?
The speech is broken.
Guys? What is the approach now, C?
Arnab, the government, as I said, the government have decided that they will not negotiate under duress, which is correct. So they will exchange fire for the next couple of days or 3 days till both sides have reached a point where Pakistani army realizes every time they start an operation, they run back to their civilian government like Kargil. So once they've started an operation to which they don't have an end, that has been traditionally the problem of Pakistani army adventures. They start without an end game because they assume the other side will buckle and they will have what they want. And when that doesn't happen, then they send the Prime Minister to Washington, like they sent after Kargil, or they'll scurry around or they come to Tashkent.
So should we increase our response from the Indian side? Should we push back more from the Indian side, Sushant, at least for the next few days, till they get the message?
I have no doubt from the statements the government is making and considering the two sensitive elections, because Prime Minister will be and is being asked by the opposition that you said your response will be very muscular. So what is it you've done? So it's inevitable that government's response will be muscular. So in the next few days, the Pakistani army will realize the foolhardiness of this approach, and then that is where the diplomacy starts. Diplomacy cannot start while this is going on, because that's what Prime Minister told UNGA.
And what if the Pakistanis don't pull back? Then what, Sushant? What if they continue with this provocation? Are you completely convinced, Mr. Sushant, that we'll be able to make them realize and pull back?
No, you will continue to go up the escalation ladder, and I think it's very clear from the approach of this government that it's not going to back down, and I don't think the public opinion also will allow it to back down. I think that is very clear. The government has made it it was not interested in some kind of a shooting match with the Pakistanis in the first place, which is why I think Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif was invited to India, and we wanted to restart some kind of a process of engagement. The Pakistanis shot themselves in the foot by sabotaging it and meeting the Jamhuriyat and creating a kind of a situation which was not conducive to a dialogue. So I think the government of India has made it extremely clear it's not going to back down. It will continue to give a very firm and robust riposte to any kind of ill adventure which comes from the Pakistani side, and then you will then steadily go up the escalation ladder. That is what the Pakistanis will ultimately have to figure out, how high they want to go on this. At the very extreme, I think it could mean a complete collapse of the ceasefire. And if that is what that is the path we are going to reach after 10 years of this ceasefire, howsoever ineffective this ceasefire was, then so be it. And then perhaps you would look at the next stage of escalation. And if that is the stage we have to go, then so be it. But I don't see how this government can really afford to back down. I don't see that happen anymore.
Right. So can you hear me, sir? Can you hear me? Marshal Abid Rao, at the end of the day, what's going to happen? We are going to hit back at your positions. We'll give you a fitting and maybe more than an equal military response. You will go crying for a few days.
Are you thinking?
What would you have gained?
Are you thinking that we are naive to the situation?
What would you have gained?
Don't you think we realize this?
My question to you, sir, is what would you have gained?
I'm surprised at your imaginary enemy, and then you start getting scared of it.
There is no enemy. There's only a country that's making a nuisance of itself. There is only a country called Pakistan which is making a spectacle of itself.
There is a lot of imaginary fear that I'm hearing from your participants. But remember, the game you're playing can be played by two. It is not a one-sided game.
So nobody wants to play a game with you.
Pakistan.
Nobody wants to play a game with you.
You are playing a game.
You can go. This is like
you make accusation. You believe in it yourself. You want us to believe in it. Then you start threatening that this is what you will do. This is what your government will do.
Sir,
I mean, all governments are open to defend their policies that they've been talking during their election campaign.
I'll just give you a very brief summary, Marshal. Now consider for a while.
Also.
Now consider for a while, Vice Marshal, that you are not sitting in Karachi. Just look at it very logically and look at it from the point of view of a non-involved Pakistani observer who feels that he has to take and support
I have always talked neutral. I have never been unreasonably
biased towards Pakistan. I'll tell you what has happened. So that understand, sir. Your country, your Prime Minister was invited to India. And I don't want to go back, was invited to India. India said it will resume the talks. He was called for the swearing in, then he was called for serious discussions. And then there was domestic tension, right, with Imran Khan and other forces pushing against him. The Pakistani military took advantage of the situation. They had a meeting with Nawaz Sharif, and Nawaz Sharif agreed to give them control of a large part of their foreign policy, especially vis-a-vis Kashmir. After that, Nawaz Sharif started upping the ante, and then your High Commissioner tried to meet these so-called separatists. You worsened the situation, we pulled back. You went crying to New York, nobody listened to you. Went to Ban Ki-moon, nobody listened to you. Today, America doesn't listen to you. India's position in the world is pretty much stronger. So the last resort, you put up Ayman al-Zawahiri's video at that point of time and said, I'm going to start an Al-Qaeda unit. I'm going to start an Al-Qaeda unit. You shot it somewhere near Quetta. You shot it somewhere near Quetta. You told Ayman al-Zawahiri, go there, stand before a camera. We give you a toy camera, put out a video, look deadly to the world and say, I'm going to start an Al-Qaeda outfit in India. That got 15 minutes of publicity across the world. Then people moved on because they are busy with ISIS. And once that was over, now as a last resort, you say just take the 120mm mortars and shoot any damn target in India, kill as many Indian children, men and women, and hope that the world will look at you. Now, it's not going to happen even so. Even at the end of this today, nobody is now the Indian government is going to hit back at you. You'll have to pull back. What have you gained in all of this? What have you gained in all of this?
Okay, first of all, I will tell you what I will just say that what we have gained is that your media is selling a lot of lies.
So what have you gained?
That is what we have gained. You make accusations, allegations, you believe in it themselves. You pressurize your government to do something silly and spoil all the diplomatic effort that has gone in past. Open and in the background diplomacy.
Sir, think about it.
That goes bad because media puts so much of pressure on Indian government.
Just think about it, Marshal.
Please let me finish. Now,
ask this question to your conscience tonight.
You are exposing yourself.
Ask this question to your conscience tonight.
Desires about Pakistan.
What has my country gained?
Those hidden wishes that America should abandon Pakistan, our friends should abandon Pakistan. If that has happened, it is our worry. We will look after that. Thank you very much for your sympathies. Number two, when you say Pakistan Army fires,
you are in Karachi, but I can sense you are in Karachi. I can sense your. I can sense a growing nervousness. Now, I'm telling you, your nervousness is your problem, but frankly, you would have gained nothing. You're about to pull back.
No, but telling
the Indian
lies is your
forces
problem.
will hit at you.
I mean, you make false allegations.
And ask any
you insist
Indian.
On them,
ask any Indian, they'll say you asked for it.
Beyond reasonable logic.
Well, Marshall, I've put a case before you. Please do think about it. I thank you very much for joining me on this debate on the News Hour tonight.